Right and left-handedness in humans. Why do humans, virtually alone among all animal species, display a distinct left-right-handedness? Not even our closest relatives among the apes possess such decided lateral asymmetry, as psychologists call it. Yet about 90% of every human population that has ever lived appears to have been right-handed. Professor Brian Turner at Deakin University has studied the research literature on left-handedness and found that handedness goes with sidedness. So 9 out of 10 people are right-handed and 8 are right-footed. He noted that this distinctive asymmetry in the human population is itself systematic. Humans think in categories black and white, up and down, left and right. It is a system of signs that enables us to categorize phenomena that are essentially ambiguous. Research has shown that there is a genetic or inherited element to handedness. But while left-handedness tends to run in families, neither left nor right-handers will automatically produce offspring with the same handedness. In fact, about 6% of children with 2 right-handed parents will be left-handed. However, among 2 left-handed parents, perhaps 40% of the children will also be left-handed. With 1 right and 1 left-handed parent, 15 to 20% of the offspring will be left-handed. Even among identical twins who have exactly the same genes, 1 in 6 pairs will differ in their handedness. What then makes people left-handed if it is not simply genetic? Other factors must be at work, and researchers have turned to the brain for clues. In the 1860s, the French surgeon and anthropologist Dr. Paul Broca made the remarkable finding that patients who had lost their powers of speech as a result of a stroke, a blood clot in the brain, had paralysis of the right half of their body. He noted that since the left hemisphere of the brain controls the right half of the body, and vice versa, the brain damage must have been in the brain's left hemisphere. Psychologists now believe that among right-handed people, probably 95% have their language center in the left hemisphere, while 5% have right-sided language. Left-handers, however, do not show the reverse pattern, but instead a majority also have their language in the left hemisphere. Some 30% have right hemisphere language. Dr. Brinkman, a brain researcher at the Australian National University in Canberra, has suggested that evolution of speech went with right-handed preference. According to Brinkman, as the brain evolved, one side 41 reading became specialized for fine control of movement necessary for producing speech, and along with this evolution came right-hand preference. According to Brinkman, most left-handers have left hemisphere dominance but also some capacity in the right hemisphere. She has observed that if a left-handed person is brain damaged in the left hemisphere, the recovery of speech is quite often better, and this is explained by the fact that left-handers have a more bilateral speech function. In her studies of the macaque monkeys, Brinkman has noticed that primates monkeys seem to learn a hand preference from their mother in the first year of life, but this could be one hand or the other. In humans, however, the specialization and unction of the 2 hemispheres results in anatomical differences. Areas that are involved with the production of speech are usually larger on the left side than on the right. Since monkeys have not acquired the art of speech, one would not expect to see such a variation, but Brinkman claims to have discovered a trend in monkeys towards the asymmetry that is evident in the human brain. 2 American researchers, Geschwind and Galiberta, studied the brains of human embryos and discovered that the left-right asymmetry exists before birth. But as the brain develops, a number of things can affect it. Every brain is initially female in its organization, and it only becomes a male brain when the male fetus begins to secrete hormones. Geschwind and Galiberta knew that different parts of the brain mature at different rates. The right hemisphere develops first, then the left. Moreover, a girl's brain develops somewhat faster than that of a boy. So, if something happens to the brain's development during pregnancy, it is more likely to be affected in a male, and the hemisphere more likely to be involved is the left. The brain may become less lateralized, and this in turn could result in left-handedness and the development of certain superior skills that have their origins in the left hemisphere, such as logic, rationality, and abstraction. It should be no surprise then that among mathematicians and architects, left-handers tend to be more common, and there are more left-handed males than females. The results of this research may be some consolation to left-handers who have for centuries lived in a world designed to suit right-handed people. However, what is alarming, according to Mr. Charles Moore, a writer and journalist, is the way the word right reinforces its own virtue. Subliminally, he says, language tells people to think that anything on the right can be trusted, while anything on the left is dangerous or even sinister. We speak of left-handed compliments, and according to Moore, it is no coincidence that left-handed children, forced to use their right hand, often develop a stammer as they are robbed of their freedom of speech. However, as more research has undertaken on the causes of left-handedness, attitudes towards left-handed people are gradually changing for the better. Indeed, when the champion tennis player Ivan Lendl was asked what the single thing was that he would choose in order to improve his game, he said he would like to become a left-hander. Jeff Massillon